woke up around 6:57, as usual. Just before the alarm rang, I reached over and turned it off. I got out of bed and made my way to the bathroom, stroking my black cat midnight on the way. After a pee and a quick cool shower, I dried myself off, as usual. I quickly dressed and went downstairs to the kitchen. I put on the coffee maker and made a couple of slices of whole wheat bread in the toaster. While the coffee and toast were going, I fed midnight, buttered my toast, poured my coffee, and watched the news headlines on Sky News, as usual. After eating, I placed my cup and plate in the sink, ready to wash when I got home from work, as usual. I went into my garage and got into my Volkswagen Golf, reversed out of my garage, closed the door, and drove off to work, as usual. I arrived at work at 7:45, grabbed a cup of coffee from the break room, and was at my desk at 7:55, as usual. At 8 o'clock, I switched on my computer and started going through the stacks of insurance claims that had been piled on my desk by my boss, Steve Jenkins, as usual. At around 10:30, I went into the break room and grabbed another coffee. I returned to my desk and continued going through these insurance claims, as usual. At around 1 p.m., I walked across the street to the baker's and bought a sausage roll and a donut, as usual. By 1:30, I was back at my desk facing this unsurmountable mountain of claims. I'm sure that Steve adds more to the stack when I'm not looking, as usual. It's about 5 p.m. It finally came around, and I logged off from my computer and clocked out. I make it to the parking lot and I fight my way through traffic to get home, as usual. I get home at 6:30, go indoors, feed midnight, and then my phone rings. It's Peter. He's asking me if I want to go for a drink. I say yes, I need it, as usual. At 7:30, I arrive to the bar and find Peter, Tony, John, Nick, Barry standing all around a pool table. I go and get myself a pint of beer and make my way over to him. I spent the evening with him, and I usually have a good time with him, and I think I had about 4 to 5 pints. As usual. The bartender called out, "Last orders," so I had one for the road as usual. I left the bar at 11:23. I pulled out of the parking lot. I drove down the road, and as I looked down to turn up the radio, a girl was crossing the road. The lights were against me. I hit the brakes hard, and the car skidded, hit her, and slammed sideways into a tree. Everything went black. I woke up at 6:57 as usual. Just before the alarm rang, I reached over and turned it off, as usual. How many more times do I have to live this day? I cut out pictures. Not just any pictures though. Pictures of missing people. No, I'm not depraved. Just bored. If you lived in a town named Ventilone, you'll be bored too. It's just a way to kill time. Now and then, I rummage through the piles on my desk, choosing the next missing person to bless my gift upon. Finding the perfect person can take hours. Once I do, I cut them out along the outline of their bodies, careful not to cut anything else. Then I open my little box, the box, and place them next to the others. I remember the first person I ever cut out, a raggedy schoolboy by the name of James Mouser. That was back in July of '09 before a few teenagers found him in a creek behind some woods. Face down, no shoes, they said. He's been dead for a while now. Lucky him. Most of the missing people I've collected never been found, and none have had their disappearance solved. Since then, I've cut out 17 others, but I had to stop 1 year. I got married. You know, don't need the wife seeing that. Besides, how would you be able to explain cutting out photos of missing people? James, Alina, 2 Tinas, and a Drew. Those are just a few of the people I knew. From touching their faces on the photos I clipped, to reading their stories and dreams never lived. Young, married, naive, tall, I have came for them all. Most in newspapers, some in catalogs, a few on flyers, and a few in store walls. All of them were ordinary people, and all locals too. Well, other than that hotshot, next big thing musician from out of town who vanished in Ventilone after some event back in 2013. I knew him because of all of the flyers advertising his appearance beforehand. He was a nice add to the collection. My mother always used to say to me that no one is ever really lost. They're just waiting to be found. Well, if they're waiting to be found, consider me the finder. After all, all the people I come across every day. What were the chances of me finding these specific ones? I consider myself pretty lucky. Sammy Nicholas can consider herself lucky too. Today, as I sat down and checked the morning mail, I found her missing person flyer freshly printed. Missing, Sammy Nicholas, 32, since July 1st, 2024. Finally, about damn time. I couldn't help but to smirk. She was a difficult one to get rid of, I'll give her that. But the moment that I cut her out on June 3rd from that Walmart ad that they'd been sending around, I knew it was time to collect her too. There's something satisfying about choosing the next target. Each photo selected, each story read and savored, every disappearance a mystery. But really, they're not mysteries to me. Each cutout is a choice, my choice, and it's always been my choice who goes missing next. Oh yeah, and for the record, James' body wasn't face down back in 2009. I would know. Silverwood, a rundown town in Arizona, just a few turn-of-the-century stores packed in between a couple of streets. It's just 7 miles off of 110 and about 50 years behind everything else in the state. The people are just as depressing as the town. They live on the outskirts in mobiles and less than modest homes. The population is about 300. No one lives in the town proper due to it being haunted. The story goes is that no one stepped foot into the town after dark due to the violent entities. Leftover whispers of murderous miners and cowboys who never left this place. The town's mayor is in front of our camera, going on about how haunted this place is. He's a fraud, just like everyone else in this little shithole. When the interview was finished, he had more of a candid conversation. Alright, my friend, I gotta say, are you sure you and your partner want to do this? I mean, the people that stayed here after dark, they never had a good experience. 3 people have went missing in the last 20 years. Shills and hustlers, Mr. Mayor. So this is really how you make your money? Going around and debunking things like this? Matter of fact, it is. We do quite well. Well, I can tell by your car. That thing costs more than what people make a year here. Look, Mr. Mayor, no one likes to be lied to. Millions of people on the internet love to see liars get their comeuppance. I give them that. Hey, you're more than welcome to stay in town after dark if you want it. Mr. Mayor, I know I can. There's no law to stop me from doing that. His lips are tight. He's pissed at me. Good. Look, I just want to know what type of man you really are, because this town after dark, I mean, it's really haunt. You can save the ghost stories, Mr. Mayor. I've heard it all from people like you. Anyway, I just want to know one thing. We struggle here. We survive on the tourist dollars by being one of the most haunted places in America. It's the only industry we got. The lockdown hit us pretty hard and we're just now starting to be able to tread waters again. Are you really the type of man who'd be fine with all of my people going without again? Well, Mr. Mayor, if you're lying, then yes. You must have been the type of kid who enjoyed telling other kids that Santa wasn't real, weren't you? You don't even know the half of it, Mr. Mayor. I still enjoy telling kids that. So sad. I tried to warn you. After dark, I'll admit the noises are terrifying. The buildings creak and speak of terrible things just behind their closed doors. We've came across awful smells. We've also had glimpses of things behind the slightly closed curtains. But the fortunate thing is it didn't take us long to find the speakers, some projectors, and cleverly hidden wires that run to motors that animate figures on the buildings. And we got it all on video. These people are done. After we were done with the video, we were packing up the Escalade when we noticed about 300 people have surrounded us in the dark. They have knives and hammers. And the engine won't start. Good evening, everyone. This is Yuri K, and this is the end of the video. Please leave a comment and let us know your opinions on the matter. If you happen to like this content, please check out our other videos. Make sure you like and share amongst your friends and family to help our community grow. You happen to be new to this channel? Please make sure you subscribe. It's free, and you can always change it in the future. You have some terrifying story suggestions? If so, make sure that you send it to my email, fearofthedarkstories@gmail.com, and I'll feature it in a future segment. But you guys stay safe out there, and remember to always be afraid of the dark.